Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Antioch, Illinois in the United States, coming to you today as part of our global Stampin' Up! Vlog Hop. What we do is offer a hop every month on YouTube, so we have a bunch of different videos that are centered around a theme. This month's theme is In Colors, and we are featuring the gorgeous new In Colors that will be featured in our upcoming annual catalog, which goes live on May 3rd. We are excited to show them to you, so let's get started. For my project today, I'm using the Tea Boutique cards and envelopes. Let me show you some of the finished cards that I've done. The set comes with 20 cards and matching envelopes, and they are of course plain. They look like this, but I have of course jazzed them up, and the envelopes are decorated, which is so cute. Here is one of the cards I did. Here is another one, and these feature our wonderful In Colors. This is Starry Sky. This is Sweet Sorbet. This one is Parakeet Party. This one is Orchid Oasis. And last but not least, we have Tahitian Tide. I love them all. Look at how well they coordinate with each other. I spread them all out, you can see. And I decided they actually coordinate with the Tea Boutique bundle, which I don't have. So I did want to show you that you can use even these cards and envelopes. If you don't have the bundle, you just use it with other stamp sets and dies that you have on hand, because they can coordinate as well. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I'll move the envelope out of the way too. And then I'll put this aside because this will give you an idea. I'm going to show you what I used. I used, again, the Happiness Abounds stamp set and the Blossoming Happiness dies, which are going to be in the new annual catalog because I had these for my pre-order. As demonstrators, we get to pre-order a month in advance when a new catalog comes out, which is so much fun. And so these are the dies. They cut out all of the flower and leaf images, and then plus there are several others that have coordinating images that you can die cut. So I used this and I thought it coordinated beautifully, and I hope you do too. I do have though something that coordinates with the suite, which is the Tea Boutique 6x6 Designer Series papers. That coordinates with the card and envelopes, I mean. So here they are. Lots of wonderful designs. And they feature the In Colors. Again, Tahitian Tide and Sweet Sorbet, Orchid Oasis. So they are featured here. And these are all of the patterns on one side. And then of course on the other side, lots of coordinating colors. Let me flip these over for you too, so that you can see. And so I did use those, but I just didn't use the stamp set and the dies. In addition, I used some other coordinating In Color products. The In Color 2022-2024 Glimmer paper, which you can see one of them right here. They are ombre and they come in all 5 of the new In Colors. You can see that ombre look. So I used those on a few of the cards. I also used the 2022-2024 In Color 6x6 Designer Series paper. These papers come in 4 patterns and all 5 of the new In Colors. So here are 2 of the patterns in each of the colors. Aren't they gorgeous? And then here are the patterns on the other side, the other 2 patterns. So I use those on one of the cards. So I'll bring them back in just quickly. Here I use the Glimmer paper. Here I use the paper that also, it comes from the Tea Boutique Designer Series paper. And on the one that we're going to do today, I'm using the In Colors. So lots of choices for In Colors. So let's get started. I have the Tahitian Tide card from that card and envelope pack. Let me bring that card sample back so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And then again, there's a coordinating envelope already decorated. We don't need to do anything If you know me, you know I don't like naked envelopes, but in this case we don't need to do anything. So I've chosen one of the papers from that coordinating Tea Boutique Designer Series paper pack, and it's already been cut to 2.5 by 4 inches. And if you're working in metric, that's 7.2 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And I have cut a piece of the In Color 6x6 Designer Series paper that coordinates. And this is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, or if you're working in metric, 7.2 by 7.2 centimeters. And so we're gonna start by just layering those on our card front. So I have my Stampin' seal. And I basically left the same amount of space on all 3 of those sides. And we're gonna get to some stamping. Here I've got a scrap, and I have the largest flower stamp from the Happiness Abound stamp set. We're going to stamp it in Memento Black, but we're going to stamp off first so that we can stamp a sentiment over it. So I'm gonna bring in a scrap so that we can do that. Ink up my stamp. Make sure I got good coverage. And again, I'm going to stamp off. And then bring in my basic white. And we are going to cut that out and then color it. Or we can color it first. It doesn't really matter, whatever your preference is. But we're going to cut out some other things, so I'm going to stamp those first. We are going to use the larger of the 2 little bouquets from the set, and we're going to also ink that in Memento Black, or stamp it in Memento Black. We'll stamp that over here, and that one we're using full strength. And then I'm going to bring in Orchid Oasis, one of the gorgeous new In colors, because it is one of the colors in the pattern paper, and we're going to stamp one of the other flowers in this set. And since everything's going to be cut, we can use them all on the scrap, stamp them all on the scrap here. And then last but not least, I'm bringing in Garden Green, and we're going to stamp the leaves. I think we'll do our coloring before we actually cut everything out, because that way I won't need a scrap underneath, because if I go outside of the lines or anything, I don't have to worry about it. If you want to, you can put a scrap underneath for your work surface, because the blends, the Stampin' blends that we're going to be using do tend to bleed through, but I find that they'll come through on the back and not really come through to the bottom layer, so I'm not too concerned about that. But we're going to take the Orchid Oasis flower, and we're going to color it in with the light Orchid Oasis blend. And then we're going to come in with a dark blend, also with the brush end, and just go over the part that has that middle section. Give that a little bit of distinction. For the large flower, I'm going to use Petal Pink, dark Petal Pink. And I found that you could stamp the sentiment and then color, or whoops, I want the brush end. You can stamp the sentiment and then color it in, or you can color it in and then stamp. It doesn't seem to really matter. So we will color it in first. And my marker is getting a little bit dry, so I'm less concerned about the middle where I know I'm going to be stamping over it. So again, we're not going to give it too much definition because we want to make sure that our sentiment is able to be seen. So I'm going to bring in that Memento Black again, and this sentiment from the set that says "You are wonderful in every way," and we'll ink that up and stamp it right in the middle. And then for the leaves, I stamped in Garden Green, like I said, I stamped the outline, but I'm using my dark Granny Apple Green blend to just color that in. I'm actually going to use my color lifter since I went just a little bit outside of the lines and fix my little mistake. Color lifter is wonderful for that. And then last but not least, we have the bouquet. And for the bouquet, I'm going to do a variety of different colors. So the yellow that's in the pattern paper is crushed curry, but we don't have a blend for that. So I'm using dark Daffodil Delight. And the center is white, so I'm going to leave the center white on this one. I am using Sweet Sorbet. And for these small ones, I am using the fine tip, not the brush end. And this is dark Sweet Sorbet, if I didn't say that. For this flower, I'm using my fresh Freesia, dark fresh Freesia. And I picked up the colors from the colors, like I said, of the flowers that are on that pattern paper. And this one has Orchid Oasis in the center, so I'm using Orchid Oasis for the center of this one. I am using dark Tahitian Tide. So no shading, just coloring. Very straightforward. Again, leaving the center just white. For the last flower, we are using the Petal Pink again. This time I have the light one. I take it back, that was the dark one. And we're going to use the same in the center. And then for definition on the leaves, I'm bringing that Granny Apple Green again, using the fine tip and just going over the stems and the leaves. And I do have a little bit of a mistake going outside the lines, but I'm going to leave it because it may actually be covered by one of the other flowers. So now I will cut these out and be right back. All right, and I actually subbed out this flower for one I did previously because I was a little concerned that this was darker than normal. Usually when you stamp off, it's a little bit lighter, and the center was pretty dark. And I was afraid that the words "you are" got lost. So I used one that I had done previously. And this one I actually had done in Tahitian Tide at first. And if you look really closely, you can see I was able to pretty much get it right over the top, but there's a couple of places where you can see a little bit of the Tahitian Tide. And I just felt it was too light and again, hard to read. So that's why I used the black. Sometimes a color works, and then in other cases, it just didn't. Okay, so now we are going to finish up our stamping. We just have to stamp a little bit on the inside. So I'll show you what I did. I stamped Happy Birthday, and then there's another flower bouquet, and I used that, a smaller one that I used for the inside. So I'm going to bring those in, and we are going to stamp those in Tahitian Tide. And then we've got the little bouquet, and we turn that at an angle in the corner. So pretty, isn't it? Oh, I love this color. It reminds me of Old Tempting Turquoise, but when I compared them, yes, they are different, and this one is brighter, and I can see it even when I use it. It's so bright and pretty. So the inside is done, and now we're just going to finish assembling our layers. For the large flower, I am using my Stampin' Dimensionals. I want to pop that up a little bit. And we'll take the paper off. And we're going to move that just a little bit over to the left rather than centering it exactly, because we have the other flowers to put on the other side. And the reason I used two was that I thought I needed to bring in both of those darker colors. So I think we're going to do it like this. And I had stamped tone on tone and I liked it. So we're going to kind of pull these in like this, and with the little, still with the leaves sticking out over here, and our bouquet. So we are going to just put these on with some glue dots. Just putting a couple on the back of each. And then tucking the flower underneath. And last but not least, we'll tuck the little bouquet over here like this. Making sure we show all those colors because we want to pick up all the colors that are in the designer series paper. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Love the new colors. I hope you do too. And I think that's pretty quick and easy card, and especially if you like to color. If you're doing multiples, you can color them while you're watching television. I like to do that myself. But that is our card for today, and that is a look at all of our new in colors that are, again, starting in the upcoming catalog that starts very soon on May 3rd. So reach out to your demonstrator if you don't have a catalog. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I will be happy to get a catalog to you so you can place an order for those wonderful colors and some of the wonderful new items that are in the catalog. Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure to go to the description to hop to the next person. Just click on that link that you see there and you can hop to the next person and then hop all the way around till you get back to me. And when you do come back, be sure to check out my other videos. I have other cards, scrapbook pages, home decor items. I do paper pumpkin alternatives every month, and I have some tips and techniques videos. So there's lots for you to see there. Oh, and one other thing too, the one thing that I was going to add to the cards, but I don't have them, is there are some wonderful new in color matte decorative dots. They come in all 5 of the new in colors, and I forgot to order them. I don't know how I did that, but I think they would make a wonderful complement to this card too. So if you have those, add a few around the card. I think that will be a wonderful addition. So again, thanks for joining me. Remember to come back for our vlog hop every single month. We love it when you join us. We love it when you leave us some positive comments because it helps us to get some good feedback. And we will see you again soon, everyone. Happy stamping!